Okay, it's time for an Ohuhu update. I did not realize they switched the numbering system on all their new ones. I am working on a local retreat, and so I bought some markers to kind of help fill in, so we have at least a couple of sets, right? So I have class markers. I think I have 2 sets of class markers. This will make 3 sets of class markers. I opened it up and yeah, all their numbers changed and their names. So I'm going to apologize for any video that I've done since their numbers changed, because I thought I was on the top of my game. I was not on the top of my game. Here's what I'm going to unpack for you. I like their new number system. It's what we've been asking for since 2020 or 2019. I think I bought my first set in 2020. And their number system didn't make sense to me back then. It was just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, well, that was the Oahu. And then, of course, the Honolulu had their own number system for the same marker. But, you know, they're whatever, right? But, so they've added some colors. I tried to add, well, I won't tell you about my update yet. But, so some of the colors are the same name in this one, but they're not the same color. They're totally a different marker. Other things to note, all the numbers are mostly switched. There was only well, probably a couple handfuls, but it felt like a handful that kept the same number of one of the 2 throughout. I do like the fact that their new number system is this number on, let's say, BG 212, which is now bright pine green, is the same exact number and name in the Honolulu, the Oahu, and the Kaala line, which I love. I love that it'll be easier for you to go from one to the next without having to guess and pick. That being said, not all of them are available in all 3 sets. Not all of them, you know, in that respect, right? And the Kaala line, as far as I can tell, is fairly limited, but I think I read it's a water-based alcohol, I don't know. Something about like washable. There we go. It's a washable alcohol marker, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's okay. I don't need to know that. I think the tips are different. I'm not exactly sure. I know they have different tips. There's some new ones that I think are only in specific sets. I don't know. I don't have them all. I tried to grab the ones that I could find in my list. So let's do the update on what I did. So this is, you know, I just started kind of coloring and filling in. I don't have all of them done, obviously. This is the Oahu 100 colors. So I'm going to tell you a secret. I bought this used on Amazon. So a lot of the times their used stuff that says very good has just been like returned. Sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. I haven't had any issues. That's why I'm going to swatch all of these out to make sure that they're okay. The thing with Oahu, if you could give them a screenshot of your Amazon order or your order number, if you have a bad one, and you contact them within a couple of weeks of receiving it, they'll send you a new marker out for that one. Like, you just take a picture of what's wrong with it and stuff. I've done it before. Just note that you have a limited amount of time to do that in. Okay, so now on to what's on my Etsy, right? So on my Etsy is the old list that I did, which is this one, you know, it's let's just find the front page here and we'll go with that one. So it has got the, you know, the color name, the Honolulu brush, the Oahu fine, and then the Oahu, the old Oahu 200, and then any notes that I might have in there. So this was my original copy. That one is still on there. I actually kept this one on there. I kept the grays on there. I kept, this sheet is on there. This one is not updated number wise for the new stuff. It's gonna be a task and a half to actually do this one in updated form, and I think with the new numbering system I would actually like to do it in their groups as they have them named and or labeled. And so I'm gonna have to redo this one eventually. It's not happening anytime soon. I don't have the time to do that one right now. But that being said, it's a resource there for you if you want it. You can definitely hand number in all the new numbers on there if you're using the new numbers. Not everyone has the new numbers, of course. I really don't have the new numbers. I'm not playing with the new numbers. Therefore a retreat, obviously, so I have them for that. So let's talk about the updated list. So this one is on the Etsy. I didn't relist it. It's the same listing, so I think if you bought it in the past, you go on there and download the new file. I kept both files on there because I can have up to 5 downloads in one file, and so I kept both files on there. So if you know the new numbering system isn't your thing, the old one is still on there. But I would definitely say everything that's on the old one is on the new one. But I didn't want, you know, anyways. So what's new on the 2025 list that I redid? So basically and all of this information is on Ohuhu. Under the support button, there's like a tab that you can do color combo or color conversions or something. And so you can type in the number and it'll give you what it is in the other markers, which is nice. It's also one of those things that we were all hoping for, looking for, and wanting way back when. So that being said, they did update it. So for the most part, you know, you type in the Y070, which is the old Honolulu marker, and it'll give you the new marker number. So that's all on there. This is just all on a list. You don't have to look up anything. This is how I like to use my list, because I don't like to have to always be on my phone or on the computer to kind of find markers that are going to work all over the place, right? So we'll go with barium yellow, which used to be barium yellow. It is now called light gold. And so the original was Y3. The Oahu fine is Y295. And the little X means that it is in the Kaala line. So the Kaala numbering system goes like the old number system. It was the same as the Oahu one. Why they did it that way, I don't know. Kind of cool if you did that, you know, anyway, or if you knew that anyways. I didn't know. I don't have any of those, so I have no clue. And then ultimately what that new 2025 number is, which is Y26 now. And of course, I still left that old 2020 Oahu number in there because I still have mine. So to me, it's useful. To anyone else, I don't know if it's useful or not anymore. And then of course, room for any notes that you might have. So if we go to the one underneath it, which was brown gray, which is now dark sand, all of that is on there. Oh shoot, that one didn't have. Okay, we'll go buttercup yellow, right? So buttercup yellow was the old name, golden because it didn't fit champagne. So I put the new name on the back line on the notes just because it was easier to throw it back there to try to extend this one, and then I wouldn't have my note part at all. And so that's just kind of how I did it. I'm still up in the air if I like it that way or not, but it's how I did it for now. And then of course it's gonna have, I think that one was one of the ones that stayed the same number wise. So, you know, there's that. There are a couple that were just, I found when I was going through it that weren't on my original list, so I'm guessing those were new colors. I'm sure I don't have them all because I don't have all of what their new colors are, but the list is there. It is 13 pages long. I tried to do it in color family, so of course yellow, yellow, red, and then I still did the red in kind of the red and the red violets. There's so many crossovers there. It was so hard to like decide one way or the, so I did do red, violet. And yeah, some of the new number systems don't fall in, you know, now it's a yellow red. Now it's just a violet, which some of those make sense to me and how they did it. You know, this one's a blue violet, which is definitely probably more fitting for that one. They did move some to earth tones, which I'm kind of, you know, they moved a lot of, shall I say, earth tones from the reds and the yellows and the yellow oranges. They kind of went back and forth with some of those that I was like, well, you could have just left that one an earth tone because it's more brown than yellow or orange or red, but it is what it is. So that being said, this one is updated. I still kind of tried to keep my notes in there where they worked. Some of them I didn't, it was just, you know, so I tried. I can't promise you perfection. If you notice things, please reach out to me, let me know, and I can update the list as, you know, I get told on them. But I did up the price, so it's $3.50 now for all of the files instead of $3. Still a pretty good deal for the 100 hours that I have into making the list. Ultimately, so it's there for you. Use it to your liking. If you've already bought it, I'm pretty sure that you can just download the new file and print it. I like to do it on the paper that I'm going to be coloring on, or in this case, a cheaper variation of it. So this one is, I think, Neenah Classic Crest Solar White Super Smooth, which is the closest to Express It cardstock. Express is just expensive and I'm cheap. So that is my Ohuhu marker update. So I hope you guys find this one useful. I hope you guys can find the numbering system better. The first number is supposed to be, I read it somewhere, I don't remember. So it's supposed to be like the same color family, right? And then the next two numbers, well, okay, this one. So the next two numbers, so YR1 would be, this would be all the ones, right? And then the color, so the bigger the number, it goes from 0 to 16 or 17, I think. The higher this number is, the darker the tone is going to be. So 11 is going to be a fairly dark marker, kind of like Y199 is probably going to be a darker color than Y11, right? So if you read it that way, that kind of helps a little bit. So in essence, like all your YR1 colors should blend together well. Not that all of them are going to be the same. Go check out my my post on Inky&Scrappy, my Ohuhu page. Obviously you're going to have to translate them if you have the new numbers. But those ones, you know, use them across the board. I don't, you know, we didn't have this number system, so I didn't, you know, have those as options. But I have all of my color blends are on there, and that's free for you all. So anyways, hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Keep getting inky. Bye.